Should we all have T-shirts written, deepfake must fall? Should we all be wearing such T-shirts? What do you think?
Look, I mean, I think because we're all users of these platforms, it may not be social media, but the one person who wasn't on social media, you're probably using Microsoft or Google Docs or Uber or
LinkedIn.
So
you're on social media.
Yeah. So the fact that we are all users of digital platforms means that we all need to be advocating for spaces that are safe, that we are not going to be intentionally and unintentionally harmed. And it is a problem for each one of us to be concerned about the data that's being used to collect, how they're collecting data on us, how they're selling that data to other parties, how we're being micro-targeted, how a lot of our decision-making is being automated without us actually realizing this. So each one of us has a stake in ensuring that we have a safer digital world. How we go about doing it is, the interesting part, because we can talk about regulation and how we try to regulate, can you actually regulate the future when you don't have a crystal ball? Well, I think, there should be some basic principles that when you are building algorithms or AI or any type of digital platforms, this should be a framework that we know we're going to use that's not going to infringe on the rights of people. Number one, right? I think on the issue of whether or not the government will introduce regulation, I think the issue that's happening all across the world is that politicians are seeing the power of these platforms. They're seeing the power of being able to micro-target, to influence in order to win elections. So there is a question of political will. Would they want to regulate spaces where they can actually benefit from abusing those algorithms? I don't think that there would be much political will, but the big tech lobby is a huge lobby that pays to ensure that you don't have progressive legislation that will hold them accountable. So regulation could be one thing. Another thing could I really do believe that the first step for all of us is just knowing how to use this tech, that we understand it, that we're actually paying attention, that we know what an algorithm is, we know why we're being recommended certain content, that we're taking those first steps to critically think through why we're seeing things, and if this is appealing to certain biases, that you're recognizing this, and then actively trying to get other information or going and fact-checking yourself. That, I think, is the first thing that we can do. But then platform accountability, transparency, the regulation of this, making sure that none of our political parties speak about AI and big tech in any of their manifestos, and I've gone through quite a few of them, and it goes to show that in South Africa, real issues and we can't ignore this, is that we still have deep, vast economic inequality. People still don't have access to basic services like healthcare and education and housing. So those are the things that people are concerned about. If I had to go speak to my grandmother, Ma, let's go and talk about AI, that's not what she's concerned about right now. So we have to be able to, not take 8 to 12 months to look at what the impact of what's happening in the other side of the world, because we are still dealing with being one of the most unequal societies in the world, and then having all of this technology that could potentially deepen inequality, and we're not seeing these two things as interlinked and connected. So I would advocate for all of us, to become responsible digital citizens and to take the steps, the proactive steps, to make sure that we have safer digital worlds.
Zukile, what are your thoughts? Elections are coming up. Do you feel like AI and misinformation is going to be a big factor in the whole result?
Yeah, like I said, we're not using enough of it. But obviously, if you look at what's going on now with the MK, there's all sorts of misinformation that's going on. People can put out a video there, and everybody just jumps onto it. People, already the IEC is on the back foot defending itself. People are starting to say, Jesus, this IEC, I mean, we've known our IEC for 30 years, and suddenly there are questions, and people are starting to believe these questions. And that's all deliberate misinformation. But like I'm saying, I see all the fears and all the things, but I'm quite positive about AI. Um, uh, Everyone in South Africa now says they're a content creator.
In the world.
Yeah, and it's our responsibility as information and media people to now educate these people to do their content properly. You know, I think for 20, 30 years we've been talking about citizen journalism and didn't know exactly how to do it, largely because newsrooms have been scared. You know, but citizen journalism is so important now with floods and climate change and everything that's going on in KZN, Eastern Cape, and all of that. You need that person who's got that bridge that video of a bridge that is gone to be able to say this is the name of the bridge in this village, when did it happen, who is affected, and all of that in one sentence. You are able to do class 1 journalism, 5 W's and H intro, you know. So again, people are not going to stop being interested in information and technology. It's how you use it. And those who are professionals in those particular sectors need to be involved in the development of this technology and AI. For instance, in education, no one is complaining that AI is miseducating their kids when it's helping them with their homeworks. I did maths at high school. That was many years ago. I can't do the maths that my daughter's trying to do. I've forgotten it, you know, and she gets help, and it seems to be working, and all of that. The same story with the field of medicine. It's going to be the involvement of the professionals in that game that's going to determine in future whether our diagnosis is proper. We're probably going to wear something that's going to read your chest and show you a video of your chest and tells you what is wrong with you. And you go and buy that antibiotic and, you know, but it's all about whether you believe in it, who informs it, etc. Same story with us in the media industry. There is so much that can be done. Like I'm saying, everybody's complaining about money and all of that. Educate the people where they are. Everybody wants to be involved in information, wants to see their work published, make sure that it is done right, done professionally. And funny enough now, I've seen some AI is no longer just a robot, you know. You've got some that are passionate, they've got heart, they think, they're almost human, you know, they've got feelings. You know, they tell if you are depressed, and you can tell if you have been dumped, and they help you deal with your situation. You know, so it's improving every day.